round of 16 against the top-seeded Team Secret. It's a tall order to come back, but there is an element here that if they get the right draft, and Secret maybe make a few little mistakes in here, that SG could actually open them up, because as Team rightly pointed out while we were watching that, their cores played really well in that last game.
Yeah, they were farmed. They seemed to kind of know what they wanted to do. It just was Secret just executed at a very high level and made very little mistakes. Secret really understood what they needed to do, got the wards down. They knew where the Alchemist would go. They knew where the Alchemist would go, and they knew what lanes and where to pressure. So it was just hard for SG to kind of come off of that one.
Let's see whether they can come up with something funky. They don't have last pick, but they do have first pick, Team.
Yep. Wondering if well, they banned out the Warlock this time, so the Riki is left in the pool. Perhaps they want to take it themselves. The moving ward, we'll call it.
The mobile assassin ward.
The moving assassin ward, yes. Very interesting. They would do that here. I mean, another hero that they played is Io, by the way. That's something that they pulled out during the groups. Perhaps that's also an option for them to take.
Yeah, they're on the ropes, so they just bust out anything they're best.
Yeah.
Maybe bust out what they pulled against OG.
Oh, there it is, the Riki.
Yeah, the Riki.
Okay.
And Secret, very confident with their picks. They know what's coming.
They knew the Riki was coming, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Crystal Maiden and Abaddon. CM, very strong, hero for your team. We talked about this aura like 100 times now, how amazing it is. And Abaddon, obviously Kazu, one of his signature heroes so far. He loves playing these dead lane offlaners that they just leave on an island. Let him solo pressure the tower.
Yeah, great versus the Riki too, because he's not a super strong damage dealer and laner. Abaddon is really good at obviously being super tanky, but also making your teammates very tanky in that. So
it's a very early leaner.
They were doing this a bit during the group stages, grabbing it even first picking it every couple times. So just wanting to have a good laning stage and wanting to have a good mid lane, especially.
Yeah, it's not unusual. I mean, we saw at DAC, there were quite a few people picking Monkey Lena. Opening too.
I think it can be pretty good. Mid one, of course, being such a beast at the mid lane. I think trying to find a favorable matchup versus him is definitely a cool approach.
Yeah, Lena is she's very good with these moving ward heroes like Riki, Treant, Monkeys, because they will find someone and you want a hero to come there and kill them, right? So Ember, Lena, very similar heroes in that sense. And Lena will be less punished than an Ember Spirit would be, perhaps in the laning stage at least.
And they pick in a slot where they can then protect it. They don't face an immediate counter pick. They get to ban out some of the heroes that do well.
So the Templar already gone.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That is one of the advantages of the earlier pick.
Yeah, and Secret banning out the Slark. Very good hero against the Abaddon. And obviously, when SG performed their best, they did have this Slark who went totally ham.
Yeah.
Templar, Rubik. Just general good hero versus CM Abaddon. Strong spells you can steal. And when you play against a CM, you think she's not going to do a lot of damage, but damn, that hero does damage. And you really need your supports to have some kind of disable to stop her ultimate. You let that go, you're most likely going to lose this fight no matter what.
Yeah. Gives you a nice look, the setup like you were mentioning too for the Lena and...
Yeah.
So what do SG want to take away from Secret?
That's a tough question, Paul. There's a lot of heroes they play, but...
they focused Puppey, didn't they, in the first game, and that didn't really pay off. They kind of focused Puppey again in the first two bans. Actually, they did. Now they've got to try and protect the Lena, though. You feel?
Yeah, there's
the
anyway. Kunkka, Tusk type 4-position heroes, but that's the thing. There's a couple different options. There's a bounty, so they're actually going to target some of the
so the bounty is actually left in the pool this game. Terribly, I'm not too sure about it. Lena's quite good already. Spirit Breaker.
Oh yeah.
Spirit Breaker versus Riki and versus Lena. It's just very good for that.
Yep.
You surprised the Breaker didn't get banned?
Kind of, but maybe they feel like just banning out Puppey's heroes again, it didn't really work out last game. He just got something anyway this time. Just gonna leave it in. But since they do have the Riki, the Breaker would have been a really good ban.
Yeah.
And Lena, she can get really punished as well. It's not so easy to hit a stun on a charging Breaker, especially if it comes from a good angle on the mid lane.
It's also just very good dual lane too, if they want to do the same type of dual lane pressure. Batten with Spirit Breaker.
I think the Spirit Breaker gives them more options for the mid lane now.
Yeah.
Because they can still pick an Ember Spirit who doesn't really lane well against the Lina, but with the Breaker, you have always this opportunity to kill the Lina, and then you can always turn the matchup around instead.
Yeah, I like the approach from Secret too. Like, since we did see that last game, the aggression, like how much they really wanted to just like run at SG, it makes sense to me.
So Lifestealer, decent against Abaddon in the lane. You can just rage when he uses his shield. You don't take any damage. You can pretty much beat him in the lane with like an Obra Venom. Very good way to do that. But against the Breaker, maybe not so good.
Yeah,
because the BKB, you know, control that the Breaker provides.
Yeah, he's like a self-sufficient kind of safe laner though, so you can allow your Riki to do that like scouting as we're mentioning. And they also have the Infest combo, the Riki Lifestealer, which we do see sometimes. You know, the Smoke Cloud with Infest open wounds is pretty much like its own like essence of a stun.
Right.
Now also the Terrorblade ban makes a bit more sense because like I'm still sitting there like, why would you ban Terrorblade?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's on the hero that's Secret's
sure.
playing a whole lot, but with the Lifestealer.
I feel that Lifestealer has been falling out of favour the longer this Kiev Major has been going on. It's not been picked a huge amount actually. 11 times with 27.2% win rate.
Especially in comparison to DAC, where it was like
it was super
you saw it
popular.
every game.
Top 5
pretty
pick.
much,
Pretty much picked or banned all the way through DAC.
The nerfs really hit that hero hard. So Vengeful Spirit coming out, core. Most likely, unless we see some crazy Spirit Breaker core. No, it's not happening. Anyway, so MP gonna be probably playing that Venge. I think it's a very strong hero versus the Lifestealer. And now they have another save that they can do on whoever gets initiated on by the Riki.
Yeah, they've got some. I mean, the Venge versus Lifestealer, the matchup. You know, you have a lot of you have high armor, high stat gain.
Also a Pike hero.
Also a Pike hero.
Is very undervalued. You want something like that versus Riki, so he can get out of his cloud.
It's even tough to play Lina into like a Venge. You have to position so well to avoid getting like swapped in.
Right.
Yeah.
We saw IG do that in one of the games where they kept on swapping out Mouse Sports Lina.
Yep.
And it was so hard for her to just get back into her team. Very strong. Darkseer now, SG pulling it out. They want to play the, you know, Ion Shell combo with the Riki, try to pressure Secret instead of being pressured.
Gives them some team fight as well, which they're kind of lacking.
Right.
Secret hasn't really shown. I mean, they have the Abaddon for that, but not really any other big team fighters.
You know, Abaddon also builds a lot of aura items like Vlad's, AC, or maybe even a Radiance. And now there's a Vengeful Spirit as well on Secret. If they get this vacuum big wall combo, they're gonna have a lot of auras on their own side. SG. I'm liking the pick going into the mid game, late game. Laning could be a bit hard because of the Crystal Main and Spirit Breaker combo, but the mid game looks quite promising for SG.
Even keeping the Spirit Breaker in the safe lane means Lina's having a better time. She's not being charged, so it's like keep the supports tied to that safe lane as much as possible.
That's a good point.
Witch Doctor banned out, so just a strong laning support.
It looks like they're going to go for a support in that 5. They can't pull anything off crazy now, can they? With the way that they're pretty much set with what they're looking for.
I mean, Lina could be a support.
I mean, it could be.
We saw that hero there,
yeah.
but SG Esports have been playing it almost entirely as a mid pick.
I wonder if they'll go Disruptor again here. Pretty good at catching Abaddon out of position, and you can combo with the Darkseer as well. And this game, they're not really playing against the Juggernaut. So
You have to be worried about their lack of stuns here. If they like some kind of last pick like Storm type hero that mid one loves to play, the Ember is still there.
well, the Lina could still potentially be a support too, I guess. Since it is paired with the Lifestealer, it could be a very strong lane.
Would be, as God said, very unusual for SG.
Quite a bit of mind games happening for sure.
Yeah.
Disruptor again?
Good
so
call.
More standard.
Yeah.
Disruptor is the support, Lina is the core.
Gives them more team fight. Gives them more like they have the potential for like the Wombo combo as well. The Disruptor and Darkseer.
So Secret gonna come out with the mid. They understand now it's gonna be a Lina mid 100%. They could potentially go with the Ember Spirit still. Okay, they're gonna go with the Shadow
They're gonna go
Fiend.
with the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend Venge. Now they have like the objective takers. They have the auras as we were mentioning.
Yeah.
It's a very staple Secret lineup.
And also a BKB hero, which
Yep.
I think SG Esports is going to have quite a difficult time dealing with.
Another Hurricane Pike hero. Both cores going to be likely going Pike and just trying to outrange, kite this Lifestealer around. These are core heroes that Lifestealer does not want to be versing in general. And these are the kind of picks that why we've seen Lifestealer perhaps fall off a bit.
Yeah, does look like a rough draft, doesn't it, for SG? Predictions? Let's go through them.
Go with Team Secret again.
Yeah.
I think it's a very solid draft. They reacted very well to what SG came up with.
Okay.
They know me.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot.
They're in your head.
Yeah, we're going to go with Secret. But
Yeah.
I want to say SG, they have very strong teamfight potential. For
Yeah.
a game to look out for.
I like the point that you made though with like the BKB core. Shadow Fiend, like Shadow Fiend getting a BKB could be really detrimental to what SG can have because they don't really have anything that can go through that till like much later on in the game.
Okay. It is a clean sweep, as you may have expected. Team Secret are the favourites here, and for good reason, as we head into game number 2. But they can't afford any sloppy mistakes, otherwise SG will punish them. Let's head over to the arena with LD and Purge for game number 2.
Thank you very much, Paul. That's right. We are live here for what could be the final game of the round of 16. I'm LD. I'm joined here by Purge and Kevin. It's a pretty ugly game 1. SG Esports, a few good fights, but it never really felt like they were in that game.
Yeah, there was so much chaos going on. This is what it felt like. Secret was pressuring all over the place, getting these 2-man kills, 3-man kills, 5-man fights. Almost everything was going well for them. The only times they really died felt like just them playing too aggressive because they felt so confident in their victory. And we may see another situation like that, but it's going to take SG winning some really crucial engagements and shutting down the lanes.
A very different draft here for Team Secret. Last game running the dual core, or dual carry lineup, I should say, with this being much more of like a 4 protect 1. Yeah, the Abad and the Venge have some carry potential, but really the lineup is built around protecting mid 1 on a less survivable hero in the Shadow Fiend. So I'm curious to see, can SG Esports punish Secret? Can they have a better start to the game? And I think a good chance here. What are your thoughts on the lineups, how they match up, and do you feel like SG Esports has a better draft this time around?
Well, the Darkseer in the offlane is obviously a very, very good hero to have, but the problem is it doesn't really combo with too much else other than just Ricky as well as the Lifestealer. So maybe if Ricky spends some time in the safe lane, he can pressure some support heroes, but we're looking at Crystal Maiden, Pylai Dai, or a Spear Breaker. Spear Breaker is likely to be in the offlane anyway, so yeah, maybe they punish the CM a lot, maybe they can punish the Venge core a little bit. That's what it's going to take, basically, and they've only got 1 Sentry Ward, so it's certainly possible.
Yeah, they did go for the Disruptor again this game, something SG Esports does like to run a lot, but we saw last game the downside to the hero. It doesn't really offer too much in a more aggressive laning setup where we saw the Tusk of Puppey constantly applying pressure with the Darkseer. Will Cat get that early uncontested farm? Can he deal with the off-lane Abaddon, or is he going to have trouble getting these pulls off and grabbing his early experience? We've always got to worry about the Spirit Breaker. Puppey already prepped with the Dust and the TP, so he is primed to just constantly counterplay wherever King RD goes on the Ricky.
Yeah, that's going to be the hardest thing about this for Ricky is that even if he does try to do some Iron Shell stuff, he's still not the highest HP hero early on in the game. He's got quite a bit of regen this game, but the Sentry's almost instantly going to spot him out here, and Darkseer's going to try to get some free experience.
Make his move here on Pylai Dai. Get some good chip damage early as the introductions for the Russian commentators conclude, but Kezu early on is being pressured a little bit, forced away. You can see Puppey looks to change that equation as he heads towards top. He also performed the fairy roll. Now he's going to go for the backstep charge on mid, looking for Adriana. Will this Lina get caught out? Doesn't really seem to notice the charge until Puppey connects. Not a whole lot of follow-up, though, just helping to secure mid 1 CS here in these early levels as he's off to a good start. 6-1, mid 1, 0-2, so definitely struggling for the early last hits.
Yeah, Lina really made the right choice there. The charge came in, but he had a huge creep wave, so all he has to do is continue to worry about the experience from the range creep and just get a nuke in if he can. Kezu, for now, has pretty good solution against Cat here just because he can remove Thunderstrike if needed, so as long as the creep wave's in a fairly good spot, he should be absolutely fine to grab farm. Charge is coming from Puppey.
Yeah, again, still level 1, though, so just a harassment charge, really. Kezu, no boots even as of yet. Though, as I say that, Cat is going to separate a bit here from HFN. We'll need to come in to reinforce. Cat very separated from his team. Can Kezu run him down? One more auto attack. He will get the kill unfortunate way to go. Looks like the retaliation kill might be here. HFN looking for Kezu. Tower shots, not quite enough damage, but he has the Oov. He will get stunned by Puppey. HFN has to let him go as the creep wave pushes into the tower. The direction Cat chose there left the Lifestealer unable to assist him on the retreat.
That's a pretty good move, though. Almost killing Kezu. It was very close. Tower really helping out, but losing Cat, not too big of a surprise. Disruptor is a very weak hero if he does get gone on with Orb of Venom in the early game. Back in the offlane, King RD going to take a lot of damage from MP as well as Pilai. About 2 minutes left on the Sentry Ward, and until then, I think he's just going to play a little bit of the offlane.
Despite the kill, overall, SG Sports a much stronger start than last game, though, as they have the top 3 in CS for all their cores, doing quite well. They're forcing the Sentry purchases, so even if Keen RD is under pressure, he is, just by being an invisible hero, somewhat undermining that secret economy for the supports and not allowing Pilai to go to the woods at all, as Crystal Maidens often are wont to do. As we'll see the stun in the mid lane, 40R. Some harassment on mid one. Some decently close to a kill opportunity there, but not quite yet.
He's doing really well this game. 16-5 now versus the 11-2 Shadow Fiend. Mid one's not a bad player. He's certainly not a bad Shadow Fiend either, and he's getting a little bit of a tough lane. He's even got CM aura, so even more advantages there. Maybe Lina can continue this, but as the rotations come through, it's definitely going to upset any possible balance depending on who shows.
Pilai heading off to the woods now. Keen RD sure to be tracking him. So we'll see Puppey with the charge on the bottom lane, about to clip Tavo. Still looking for that 17%. Has not gotten a point in Greater Bash yet. Still only level 1.
Yeah.
Struggling a bit here in the early laning stage.
I feel like he's affected the lanes pretty well, though. I mean, getting the first blood is certainly huge, but just a level 2 now, his hero is significantly better. All it takes is a bash level and a charge level, and this hero kind of transforms into something great.
And pray to the RNG gods, as the rune will be spawning here. Puppey grabbing the haste rune.
Look at Bounty. Maybe he'll go for a charge on Lina or something like that. No, going to go safe lane.
Yeah, it does head towards bottom. Tavo's going to be caught out here as the Darkseer has not surged yet. Puppey can catch him out with the charge if he gets the bash. Tavo is done for, and now Pilai able to look to turn this one around. Finds the Frostbite kill. Maybe King RD can get MP in return, but no, he gets bashed away.
Oh.
Blinking forward, just had the range somehow with the Blink Strike. Finding the kill, connects, but now Puppey on the chase. King RD with the Ion Shell may want to come back in.
That's almost out. Anyways. You can barely even see it on this guy. 7 charge wands, salve being used. It was a great attempt there for the Darkseer to hold that out a bit longer. It looked like he was just giving up on life, but he wanted to let the creep with the Ion Shell on it get close to the Vengeful Spirit. Very good kill there.
It almost went the other way. King RD's Cloud was just like a split second late, so Pi was able to get off his Frostbite, but if that Cloud comes out first, I think he makes a clean getaway there. As I say that, Tavo might die again in this bottom lane. He just came back to the lane. The trade's probably there. King RD diving to see him under the tower, and Tavo will end up making it out, so SG Esports outplaying for now, goes for the TP. There is a Venge stun, but still at least forcing a lot of expenditures here as far as detection goes.
Yeah, very hopeful TP for sure. Fortunately for him, no Quelling Blade, no Tango to juke, so easy kill. Is leveling pretty well in Riki though, level 4. Opting for Blink Strike surprisingly over extra points in Cloak and Dagger, usually the more common grab, but the lower cooldown could be really useful.
Mid one has definitely caught up mid though, in the midst of this back and forth skirmish bottom lane, sitting 32-5 ahead of the lane NCS. As we've seen Adriano go for 3 or 4 Light Strike Array stuns, hasn't managed to connect on mid one, but if he gets one, you know the Laguna's coming next, so mid one has opted to grab the infused raindrops early. Perhaps with those will be enough to save him from a potential gank. Speaking of which, King RD does move on to mid lane, but not going to make the jump just yet.
Probably getting more easy pressure in. Queuing up a hand of Midas Rush. Gloves of Haste holding for now. One of the best heroes actually for the attack speed item first. Riki moving around the map, grabbing bounty runes, grabs the one from Pi, the Crystal Maiden. He doesn't want to pressure it, it looks like, although he may now with Darkseer rotating him. But no Ion Shell in 4 seconds here. Yeah, he felt that one coming.
Good Cloud, but Pilai is able to get out from it, and Puppey looks for the kill here on top. Oh, another death for the Darkseer. Really getting punished in this bottom lane. King RD still collecting a lot of experiences though, Riki, but is it worth it? Yeah. Giving up this many kills on the Darkseer.
Oh, Sentry spotting him. Oh, it's over to the left. He just placed that down as well. No more dust here for Spirit Breaker. And no Iron Shell landed on the Riki either at the end of that fight, so Pie's going to be just fine. Doesn't quite have boots. He's definitely the hero to kill. And Disruptor's going to rotate down as well. Maybe they can get a kill on the Vengeful Spirit.
At this point last game, SG Sports was down, I want to say like 2,000 to 3,000 gold at least. This time around, very even game. They're actually leading, so have to be much happier about how Game 2 has started.
Yeah, they put a sentry down to see if there's an observer ward. They only found a sentry. They don't want to kill it because they don't want to know their opponents to know they're there. So they're going to try to surprise MP if possible. They got to jump on him almost right away, though.
And as you mentioned, it is going for that greedier Midas build early, not picking up an Aquila, which we often do see on the bench, sometimes even the upgraded boots. So he's a lot more killable, and MP walking dangerously close to certain doom as the trap is sprung. There's the cloud. Now the charge in from Tavo. Should be able to get off the stun on the Riki. Then the charge coming through, swaps away, but won't survive. The glimpse back is there, preventing Puppey from finding the counter kill. So a clean takedown. That is big.
So one cool thing about this Riki build, I think he's just prioritizing Cloak and Dagger less because he's got Ion Shell. That's by far the most damage output. So he'd prefer to have more miss rate, higher AoE, lower cooldown of Blink Strike. Could definitely pay off here. We'll see how it transitions. It's going well for them right now, though. The Ion Shell with the Riki alone, it's a little finicky. You have to be careful not getting bursted down rapidly, but they're making it work. 3 kills for him now.
And this is before the Lifestealer bombs come into play. We really haven't talked much about HFN, but just quietly farming up a Storm, nearly doubling the Abaddon CS and then some in this top lane. But we've seen it before, the power of the Riki Lifestealer. You throw Ion Shell, maybe 2 on top of that, and anyone who gets caught is likely going down.
Yeah. Lina just playing pretty farm-heavy build. Actually going for 2 Fiery Soul over Light Strike Array. Kind of an interesting build. From there, probably we'll go standard Bloodstone into maybe Shadow Blade. I would like to see her included a bit in some of the tempo, but maybe you skip something like SB, do the SB.
Keen RD dropping the ops top, so maybe setting up for that next round of aggression. Still waiting to see where SG Sports really force the issue. As of yet, they've been contentious to farm, but mid one quietly just free farming in the jungle. Pressured early, but the scan now comes through.
Was that an illusion they just go?
Yeah,
okay.
Radiant scan in the mid lane. The Riki illusion was there.
Well, that pays off pretty hard.
Trying to find him, and hey, if you do, the instant dust gets popped and Puppey gets the kill. So
Yeah,
it's a bit of a dice roll by Secret.
Yeah, it's pretty unlucky for them, at least. They were just hoping to get an actual Riki kill, but they don't have any ward vision on the rune spots, which makes a lot of sense. If you can't see the Riki crossing the river, then having ward vision there isn't going to work out. Better to have it in places where they're likely to be standing.
Uh-oh. RD in a lot of trouble now.
That's going to be a long
charge
though.
Coming from a mile away, but if he just blinks back to his Darkseer, he should be just fine. Puppey's spending a lot of time chasing, not a lot of time killing this game.
Yeah, definitely see him coming on the way. So, Riki, nothing really new item-wise, just still kind of lurking around looking for kill potential. And Cat also not level 6, just a bit over 5 right now. Maybe would like to see Lifestealer head to the jungle and let him get 6.
And no boots either. He is really food.
Oh, they're in stash. That's all.
Okay.
Just greedy teammates or something, right?
Yeah. Courier, please.
Or is the courier dead?
No,
Oh,
it's up top for now.
The one place I didn't like.
Get it together, Kevin.
Armlet ready for Lifestealer. This would be another thing that he could do in the meantime. Just grab TP to where Riki is, hop on in, look for a kill. It is kind of scary because it's very clear that there's some sentries in the jungle, but he's still the most capable hero to look for heroes to blow up.
Yeah, and he does we do have a smoke here on Cat, so I imagine when he finally gets his grubby paws on that courier, they will be looking for some sort of smoke rotation. We'll have to see who the target is. Mid one, the leader in net worth here for Secret, and given the composition, probably the main hero you want to focus on is MP just now completing his Midas bottom. He's going to quickly eat up a Centaur. Let's see where Cat wants to go. Eats the Tome, has the Static Storm. Which way does he roll?
There it is. Instant TP, infest into Riki, straight onto the enemy carry if possible. With that said, there's a ping from Abaddon. He's predicting the Lifestealer to be at the large camp, or at least he pinged there. Could mean anything. Is he farming here? Is he eating a creep?
Yeah,
The longer they take, the more they're going to be afraid to not go.
They are going to show Tavo here. Pylite die well, I was going to say takes the bait, but Kinardi actually gets stunned under tower, punished. They were ready for this. The Venge stun is there, but still a decent trade as they get the core Venge kill. Can HFN make it out? Has the armlet, needs to activate it, stay alive a bit longer. He's going to toggle it on. The wall gets dropped defensively, and then the surge comes through. He gets body blocked for a second. He turns. He wants to come back in onto Puppey. Says, I have the armlet. You cannot kill me. Now onto Kezu, trying to make his way out of this one, but will end up going down. Still, the trade is there with mid one getting peppered by auto attacks. The Lina finds the follow-up. Adriano now with the stun, looking for Kezu as well. Can they bring him back? The glimpse too. Kezu down for the count. It's a triple for Tavo, right back in the game. Desperately needed frags for SG Esports, not just in this fight, but in the game overall, as they extend their lead to nearly 3,000 gold, 3,000 experience.
That was great decision making by the Lifestealer to go back in. Oh, Haste picked up as well for 40R. Maybe he kills Puppey here. There's a shrine that'll buy him some very important time. And
he is going to activate it, dodging the stun just barely at that. Adriano could be in danger now. The swap, the bash. Oh, he's bit off more than he can chew, and Puppey will end him with one more clubbing from that lantern.
that was a huge mistake, actually. Right after winning a big team fight like that, you cannot feed the most farmed hero on your team to the enemy support, because that's going to put Puppey at 6 now, which makes his ganks all the easier.
Yeah, he desperately needed the levels too. Puppey was spending a lot of time moving around and not really getting kills, so was quite a bit under-leveled prior to that Lina takedown. Kinardi currently stalking him. They're going to need 1, maybe 2 heroes here if they want to find that kill.
They do spot the courier flying out.
HFN, armlet complete. Now back to the jungle. Looks like it could be a Desolator pickup next. But Secret going for the 1 Midas.
Yeah, I do like the Deso. I think it's a pretty good idea. It'll be very good against Shadow Fiends. He usually gets very tanky, has strong armor, but not impenetrable armor. So minus armor will be pretty effective there. Kind of same story for Venge as well. Spirit Breaker, Crystal Maiden, surely. Its last decision making was teamfight decision making. I thought was really good. Diving under the tower, got the open wounds off on the right target. He turned at the good moment too with the search. Maybe got a little unlucky against Orb of Venom or something.
Now the move onto Kezu, top lane, HFN mauling him. Does force the borrowed time. And with that open wounds about to cool down, Kezu's going to have to play quite defensively for the next minute or so. So we'll see more Midases under construction. Puppey closing in on one of his own. That's going to be a double Midas for the team. Kezu opting to go for the early Vlads here, though. So really focused on keeping that Shadow Fiend as durable as possible as they look to spring the trap. They know the borrowed time's on cooldown and they want to punish. Cat's there, finds the kill, and now MP TPing into a... Oh, actually got the glimpse back to safety. That would have been a second kill, I do believe.
Yeah, that was definitely a mistake there. But I think they're still a little bit worried from what things felt like in the previous game where it was just Secret rolling over them. They're going to not be as able to make the perfect decisions in those stressful moments.
So HFN will grab a Midas of his own, is not going to try and rush that next big damage item.
Well, this is one advantage at least. I mean, they probably would have killed the Venge, but the pressure continues for them. The same's going to happen for Venge, but oh, this kill.
The timing on that Cloud. Tricks of the trade following up with the open wounds rage. And another takedown. SG Esports ramping up here.
That's Midas greed right there. Nothing else to be said. Puppey says, I just got this. I want to put it on cooldown. Well, that's not the only thing on cooldown. And they're going to hit the tier 2 tower.
Well, the bonus gold denied to Puppey, at least for now, as SG swings over towards mid. Still only taking that 1 tower, though, and you got to imagine that they're looking to convert these upcoming fights into actual objectives so they can really limit Secret's mobility.
That would be huge, yeah. But Shadow Fiend's still kind of farming ahead. Once he grabs BKB, I feel like he's going to be the right solution against SG and them running them down.
BKB is so good this game. Like, honestly, unless Lifestealer is a basher, there's nothing to prevent him from getting off his full combo of spells.
Yeah, at the least, he'll get his ulti off, and most likely be able to deal with the Lifestealer pretty well.
Kinardi, great job there, breaking the smoke, doing it at the boundary of dust range, and now Pylai hides in the trees. They're going to roll forward here, the Infest, but HFN pops out. Seems like they wanted to immediately transition into a fight, but KNRD walking directly into Pi, hiding in the trees, is going to now reveal himself. They're going to commit here. Is this the target they want to be going for? Into Tricks of the Trade. Blinky back to the Lina. Puppy's out pretty far. Is it too far? Now turning for the Lina. Gets the bash after the initial Nether Strike, but then the wall gets dropped, and they might look to turn this fight. Turning back a little bit, and they are able to connect on mid one, isolating him. Laguna tasers him down. Now on MP, bringing him down as well. Pi could be next. That's likely to be 3, and they're looking for Puppy 2, 3, make it 4. SG Esports rolling Secret over and battering them while they're down.
Can't believe the Ricky stayed alive in that engagement. Completely out of position after the Tricks of the Trade runs out. The Spirit Breaker charge commits, and no mistakes made by the Lina as well. Saves the invis, plays it cool, looks for the important heroes, which is the ones that got caught under the Static Storm.
This was just such a long way to dive. They knew SG Sports had at least like 3 heroes in the neighborhood. Excellent Static Storm here. Really good catch on mid one. They got the glimpse back, interrupting the Requiem. MP ends up going down pretty early in the fight. They're not able to keep the Shadow Fiend alive, Kevin, and that's really the whole idea of the lineup is you have an Abaddon, you have Avenge. Shadow Fiend should live for a long time if things are going well for Secret.
And the person that actually saved that fight completely for SG was really the Darkseer. It looked like they were going to combo the SB ulti into the swap, but with the vacuum into the wall, it kind of kept Secret on the backline, wasted Puppy's initiation, and allowed them to set up with the teamfight combo afterwards. So big teamfight win there, mostly on Tavo.
I had forgotten about this. Cheeky, infested dragon who's got an Ion Shell to work with. Ketson pretty far, is able to get away, but Puppy's on the chase. MP there, cuts him off with the Shrine TP, gets the stun, but they still have to deal with this Ancient Black Dragon. Kezu is trying to run away from it, still with the Ion Shell, not doing all that much damage, is dropping relatively low, gets blocked. Kezu with the borrowed time, getting forced out. Now Puppy, another strike committed. They chase for a bit more, but the Laguna's there, perfect timing. So the borrowed time runs out, they'll take down Kezu. Now KNRD blinking away to the low ground, just kiting them completely. HFN, all the while just baiting Secret. They're ignoring Adriano, and he's cleaning up, finds the double kill. Now the surge on the Puppy, but can he take him down? HFN, so damn tanky. This Lifestealer wants blood, but mid one's there to answer back, and not getting the follow-up he needs. They at least get the Ricky kill. A small something, but simultaneously MP, he thought he had help. He did not. Mid one says, I'm out of here. Peace, homie. And SG Esports says, vamos. Let's find more.
They have the ward. They just got to get a little closer. No Surge, still on cooldown here. Not able to grab the SF. That would have been an insane pickup. They still win a great fight. Lifestealer getting a lot of kills. I feel like I've seen him cast Rage like 4 times in that engagement. Just always magic immune at the right time and dealing tons of damage as well.
Lina already level 16 at 19 minutes. So your Shadow Fiend, BKB under construction, doesn't have it yet. This Laguna Blade is just absolutely brutal for him to deal with.
And it's not just that, actually. He went for the plus 50 damage perk. I feel like a lot of Linas should be grabbing this because, I mean, with the early Fiery Soul, his attack speed's insane. It's not just the spells that are important. It's also his right clicks from a very long distance away. Still grabs the Bloodstone, so he will respawn relatively fast, just not the instant that you might expect normally. And he will go for Boots of Travel next, and Shadowblade is the follow-up.
Yeah, so once he gets that, constantly a threat to anyone who's off on their own farming, and mid one perhaps with a BKB at the right time can survive, as there's no sign as of yet of Alina Eggs, but still, at best, you're just TPing away, and at worst, you get comboed and brought down.
And again, showing the clip there, just Lifestealer reading the fight really well. The vision was there. He was able to clean up the Vengeful Spirit kill after they felt overly safe. So those kind of moves really changed the tempo of the game. Lifestealer's net worth right now is by far top of the chart, and that is looking a little scary for Secret here. How after they played the game one, I really thought this game would also be similar to that role, but SG from the start to now is just, I feel like they've blown off the rust. They've lost the confidence issues. They're playing like a top tier team right now.
Playing like they have nothing to lose, and you win this series suddenly into the top 8. They would, at that point, have a date with EG, and we could have another American showdown.
Easily on paper and in reality the biggest upset if that were to happen, because this is the rank 1 team from the groups against the rank 16, and SG's taking it to Secret right now.
But not over yet, not by any means. Secret with a lot of tools that can reset and turn around fights, whether it's the swap, the Shadow Fiend BKB Requiem, the Abaddon can be a thorn in their side. So if SG get overconfident, if they dive too far, still room for Secret to punish. But you could see Secret now, they feel like they have to wait for an SG mistake. They stick around as 5 top. They're no longer freely farming their woods. That jungle has been invaded. You could see some deep wards being planted. it's really ball is in SG Esports court, and the shot calling is all in their favor as far as having options at this point.
Yeah, the options are definitely there. Pretty similar Midases for both sides. I think Secret's just going to have to win this one with good old-fashioned teamwork. Smart, safe play, defend the important heroes, abuse BKBs to hopefully waste SG's initiations.
This tower is not long for this world with, as you mentioned, the plus 50 damage. Talent now into mid one, gets caught out, but a well-timed shield by Kezu. Is it going to matter, though? They glimpse it back. Mid one has the BKB. They're really trying to force it out. Would be big to take it down. Another Lina stun. Adriano just confident as all hell with that Aegis.
Well, they're getting him low, but, you know, mid one's not going to choke in moments like that. He's not going to misuse his skills, his items. I don't think he really expected SG to initiate there. If they really wanted to go in, he was going to feel a lot more heat than what he got. Maybe a static storm, something like that. Those are the big tells, but maybe against lesser teams, SG would make that work. Gonna grab bounty runes, gonna farm their half of the map, and Secret has to continue doing what they were doing before, which is kind of just 5-manning.
So you have the BKB on Shadow Fiend now. Do you think Secret can take a head-on fight?
I think so. They just need Shadow Fiend to be the focus, kind of what was happening before. Obviously, Secret can back him up with things like heals and the shields, but it's got to be on the SF. If they hit the backline, kill Crystal Maiden first, maybe Vengeful Spirit towards the beginning of the fight, I do think they can kite the Shadow Fiend. Lina's walking into a dangerous move, though.
That is a ballsy Lina. Adriano, not afraid at all. They're going to get the glimpse back here, and it's on Kezu. They pull him out of position, so he won't be around later in the fight to help the Shadow Fiend. If they can focus him down, a good charge. Static Storm gets dropped defensively to try and separate Puppey from the rest of his team. So far, just a disengage, but the Static Storm down could maybe be an opening here for Team Secret. But all the way on the other side of the fight is Puppey. Very isolated for now. They get the glimpse back, trying to focus down MP. Swaps himself away to the north. Puppey again charging through. The Requiem is there. Mid one. BKB commits onto HFN, but he's so damn tanky. They need the focus fire if they want to bring him down. The back as well from Tavo. Almost has the wall. The Infest to keep him alive. And now the Lina's done. Fights one. Fights two. Mid one's going to drop. Kezu in the trees. Will he make it out? Puppey on the TP. No. Cat denies him with the glimpse. 4 dead. Barely escaping with his life is Kezu. SG Esports pulling it together on the main stage here in Kiev.
And that's exactly what they had to do, separate their opponents. They bring the Abaddon back first, then Puppey has to charge through to try to save him, and then Puppey's initiation on the way back through is not as effective. It was just very difficult for Secret to take that fight, and the craziest thing is Secret just looks scared to even try to go for the Lina. She's already got Bloodstone. They're maybe expecting her to respawn instantly and TP back into the fight or something. That's probably what would happen. She's got BOT. She's got a Bloodstone. And the craziest thing as well, he just lands every stun. He never misses.
He found a 2-hero unsupported stun diving in between like 4 Secret heroes.
Yeah. He missed that one because that guy had BKB, but, you know, they will finally get a kill. A big kill there as well. Disruptor is the best one to set tempo, so at least they don't have to worry about getting glimpsed.
You say that, but he just bought his blink before dying. So now Disruptor has a blink. You've got Ricky to scout very far ahead. You have the ward advantage. This is like the best possible position to be playing Disruptor.
Yeah, it really is. And that's probably why SG picks it. They set the tempo, get enough kills. This is what's going to happen. Lifestealer going to build up an AC next. He's pretty close away. About 1,500 gold or so. Pylai Dai still running around with Tranquils. This guy is food this game. He's not even level 10 yet. Only 8 on Pi. Got to sit back and do his best to defend allies.
I don't really know what you can do at this point as a Crystal Maiden.
Give mana?
Yeah, give mana, sit at the fountain, maybe pray that they ignore you in Freezing Field, but dies in like 2 Lifestealer auto attacks.
Yeah, it's a tough game for Crystal Maiden if you don't get ahead, that's for sure. Lifestealer is one of those carries that just kind of eats you alive if you're a support.
And it's not like they're going to save you, you know? The Shadow Fiend is the priority here.
Yeah, absolutely. Shadow Fiend's biggest damage output by far. And like you pointed out in the draft, maybe Medusa was something Secret was thinking of, but SG banning it out makes it a little bit more straightforward to deal with Shadow Fiend. I think right-click heroes sometimes have a lot of trouble with SF, but the Lina's been working out surprisingly well, even with the BKB, and a lot of that has been the mobility advantage that he's been working with.
And that's also going to be aided by HFN and his item build, going for the AC next. So with all that minus armor on the Shadow Fiend, as far as armor items go, they have the Flads, they do have the Medallion, and he went for the Aquila, so it's not horrible for mid one, but still gets focused, as we will see Highlight die. Just accepting his fate here in the jungle. Gives up the kill.
He got that bounty rune, though.
Yeah, slight value.
That's a gold swing right there.
Oh, hey, buddy. That's a big kill, and that is one Secret cannot afford to give up.
Oh,
Glimpse
man.
is there again. It's Cat, who appears to be everywhere.
And the worst thing about that is that 4DR actually did TP back to push the lane in the meantime. So Creep Wave is going to be at their tower. No bench for 40 seconds. The best hero for them to initiate with. And not really any action items either.
They're 10 gold away from an Assault Cuirass here. SG Sports, they do have the power play bench. No buyback available, so they're going to look to push that advantage. Mid one comes back in, went back for the Dragonlance. Very defensive build from him. But it's Adriano just poking at this tower with that incredibly long range. Now got the plus 150 attack range talent, so hits like a truck and does so from a very safe distance. As HFN up in front, it's going to retreat here. The
So
AC
close.
flying out right now. Tower drops already, so they can go for the shrines if they so choose, but I wouldn't be shocked if they try to force the issue. We'll see.
That's just an amazing advantage that Lina grabbed right there. Just a simple 50 damage perk, maybe the cast range helping on. Obviously a very good game as well, but taking the tier 3 at 27 minutes, it's almost a reverse to the last game.
Even the shrines just melt. The physical, you don't really look at SG Sports and you're like, oh, this is like a crazy physical DPS lineup, but
Yeah.
with the way that Adriano skilled with talents and the itemization of HFN, they actually have a lot of physical damage.
That's pretty good. I like the Lincoln's follow-up for Lina as well. Should help stop things like charge on the back line or aggressive swap. Definitely the dangerous thing for Lina's is being in the wrong place.
So things slow down a little bit now. SG Sports gonna reset in their own woods for the time being. Next Roshan could be spawning momentarily. Not moving towards the pit just yet, but they should know that it's quite likely up soon.
Yeah, I think because they killed the Shrine here and they had some decent pressure, I think they're a little bit worried about Secret going for some, moving towards some like Desperation Smoke kind of territory. Maybe not Desperation, but, you know, trying to take a real
Low
fight.
percentage, for sure.
Yeah, so they're just going to stay grouped a little bit. I'm sure they feel really ahead right now. That's absolutely the case, especially if they clear the rest of the Shrines. They did spot the Darkseer moving through into their jungle, so maybe Secret is expecting some slight split push, but SG just going to try to regain control of the Roche area and finish that off.
Do you think Secret can contest this?
That one's going to be pretty hard because, again, their lineup is so good at like winning the game and then slapping towers, similar to what SG is doing right now. But it's not so good at taking a 5v5 out in an open area with cliffs and heroes going every which way. And that's another advantage that SG has in the fights, is that Lifestealer is going to run in, he's going to chase people down until he gets a bunch of kills, and Ricky's going to always be aiming for the low HP support. So I feel like it's pretty easy for SG to split the fight up and pick off Secret one by one.
They are going to plod into the pit here with Puppey under cover of smoke, dropping the advanced sentry, hoping that SG walk into him, but SG, a little loop-de-loo from them. They're going to sweep around. They could go for the shrine, but they want the heroes all the way around, plunging back up mid, undoubtedly. They see the Shadow Fiend here. There is no way he doesn't have his entire team behind him, SG say, and Secret look, maybe to spring a trap. They have a good observer ward, but KNRD is going to slip in so far unnoticed. Will he find the opening? Wave of Terror comes out. Lifestealer comes in, but the silence is there. It's a huge opening. Will HFN get punished? Battlefiend able to bring him down immediately. Has the buyback. Might have to use it. The Requiem unwound. Mid one. Pounding into Tavo, but can't finish him off. Suddenly he's caught. Kezu with the borrow time, but they're locking mid one down. They're not letting him get off auto attacks here. Now the Cloud dropped again. Has the missed chance to worry about. He will fall. And now looking for the fifth. The final takedown. Kezu will fall as well. Puppey unable to get back to the fight, and SG now it's into the pit.
Just an amazing item purchase there by Min One. It was a great attempt. It guaranteed the carry kill, but that was about all the damage they had, it seemed.
It really, it does feel a bit like a desperation pickup, though. Like, if we can't just silence this Lifestealer, there's no way we kill him.
Yeah, because he's always going to rage. Our heroes are way too vulnerable to get him on top of them. He goes for the buyback, and they get the Roche as a result, which pretty much guarantees SG's ability to take shrines and close out the map soon. I think it's gem time for them, absolutely. Get all the wards killed, and that's where SB starts feeling like a bad hero. He can't really charge the heroes he wants to. They can't look for these opportunities. It's just going to be full SG map control. Actually, they do have a gem still on the Ricky.
Team Secret up 1-0 in the series, so should they drop this, they'll have a chance to regroup before a deciding game 3, but they find themselves on the precipice of dropping the game. Down 20,000 gold, over 15,000 experience, absolutely no map control. Shrine's gone. Aegis in the hands of SG. Lincoln's now picked up on the Lina. Lincoln's being built on the Lifestealer, so that Orchid not likely to stay effective for long here. You know, whether it's just blocking a swap, and Orchid, big pickup to have those Lincolns as we'll get another look here at that team fight. The Darkseer and the Disruptor made some huge plays here, Kevin.
Oh, the vacuum on top of the Static Storm absolutely did. But obviously a great initiation to guarantee that first kill. Darkseer staying alive with all of the evasion he actually has. And Mid One did a pretty good attempt, but with all of those illusions beating on him, an SF illusion of his own, he actually just died quite quick to physical.
Okay, Nardi's in deep. He's going to drop the cloud. Surprise, he says, as they unload. Tabo's there with the bomb. Now the glimpse back. They look for more. HFN going to force out the borrow time, and they will retreat. Crystal Maiden with a very hopeful, very ambitious ultimate. Won't even get the full thing off. KRD denies that to Pylai die too as the base crumbles. It's burning. SG Esports straight on towards mid. That's one lane. Looking for the second. HFN left entirely uncontested. There is now a completed Bloodthorn on mid one, so perhaps can dish out that damage. Still the BKB available, but they're down the bench. They're down the Spirit Breaker. They won't have either for 20 seconds. Ample opportunity for SG to cave in this tower, to take a second lane, and with it, likely the game.
Got to be a little careful. His HP's getting low. He's got Infest ready. Creep spawn in about 7 seconds if he needs to get healed.
Still has the Aegis though. He's not afraid. This Lina just machine gunning down structures. SG are going to back. Incredibly patient play from them as they know they've already gotten a huge objective here. It's a big victory. Don't even want to slightly risk it, and with still about 2.5 minutes left on this Aegis, they're going to have time to regroup, push in all the lanes, and go again if they like.
Do they go top, maybe? Oh, I mean, they can control the map, but like you said, the Aegis is something they don't want to forget about here. Crystallis for the Lina, so going to be throwing some crits on top of what he's already doing.
I feel like he might be hitting harder than the Shadow Fiend at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, his attack speed has got to be like 4 times it. Shadow Fiend hits really hard. The Bloodthorn helping as well, but I mean, the Ultra Mobility, he's practically tankier than SF is. He actually has more HP on the Lina right now. That's a bad sign. Way more armor, maybe better damage.
Oh, it's all in on offense here for mid one, and I don't think you can really argue with it. If he doesn't just kill at least 2-3 heroes during that BKB, he's dead for sure. So he says, screw it, grabs the Mask of Madness.
It's fine, honestly. Like, your raises don't do that much damage in this period of the game. Anyways, he's got so much damage in between Vlad's and Vengeanceor and all the stats he's built, so this is the way to go.
I also like it because Adriano, no Aghanims for him, so you don't have to worry about losing like half your health instantly to the Lina Laguna.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a desperation item, but it might be just the ticket to win a fight here for Secret.
So Lifestealer going the safe way here, going to build a Manta style. So he split his S and Y. It's going to hurt his mobility a little bit, but the important thing is the easy counter against the Bloodthorn.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Lincolns, but opts for something that also lets you siege a little bit better.
That's
Strip
true.
away with those illusions.
Just a bit better. Remove Frostbite. Make it harder for SB to grab the right guy after you charge in. It's definitely some good solutions. King RD's really farmed this game, Blink Dagger and Diffusal Blade, so it's very easy for him to get wards on the high ground now.
And 2.3k in the bank. That is a
what?
Fat Ricky.
Oh my god.
He's more farmed than the Venge, Kevin.
That's a bad sign. The hood pickup that MP went for this game maybe was the wrong choice. There is so much magic damage on SG. I just don't think he was expecting this tempo to shift so hard.
I mean, it feels nice on paper against Disruptor, Darkseer, even Lina, very magic damage focused, but the phase where they were relying on magic damage, like last game, they were still relying on it at 30 minutes, but they don't even need the magic damage anymore, it feels like.
Maybe the mistake against Lifestealer. So, Aegis is gone. Smoke gets popped. Secret knows it's down. Kezu is actually not caught in it. Maybe that's the point. Push out the lanes, make it seem like Secret's still in the base, and then he'll have to sprint on over when the fight actually starts.
They're looking for a desperation fight outside of the base. Puppy.
Oh, very close to breaking.
Very close to revealing, indeed. Not going to get the smoke broken, but the lanes are at the base. Like, this is such an obvious play for SG Esports. They just back off a little bit. They see creeps marching in bottom. They see creeps about to arrive at the base top. Illusion shoving in mid. Secret, just no chance of an ambush when the vision is that strong for SG.
And Lifestealer turns his empty Sange into a Heaven's Halberd now, so 15% evasion from his talent, 25% from his item. I don't even know if mid one's going to hit this guy. I mean, Bloodthorn is definitely one great solution of removing evasion while it's active, but as long as he saves his Manta Stall for the right moment, I don't know if they could stop Lifestealer from killing their last buildings.
This Lina, 0.3 seconds per attack. So you look at 3 attacks a second with now a completed data list. Says they are going to charge onto HFN, but he's so damn fast. He continues to sprint away, courtesy of the phase boots. Already committed the Manta Style. They're going to jump onto him. Can they focus him down in time? They do get some good crits off, but now the turn. Tavo's there with the wall. Will it save the day? Not quite. Staying alive is mid one, but not for long. KNRD sweeping in from the side, and all the while Adriano making mincemeat of Secret. 3 about to be 4. Kezu, he'll hang on for now, but not for long, sucker. And that's SG marching down top and likely towards victory. There's a buyback from Shadow Fiend, but I mean, you could see the Mask of Madness, even with BKB. Kevin, he just melts.
I think that's because Arlena has a Daedalus this game and is critting for 800 damage. I mean, they were able to get the Lifestealer kill. Not an easy thing by any means, especially with the items he grabbed, but
and
you
if you
gotta
get
worry
that,
about the back
you
line.
get that kill and then immediately get wiped, and you just don't feel very good if you're in the Secret camp.
Yeah, absolutely not. And 2 great siege heroes. One is the Lina, one is the Lifestealer. And Lifestealer is dead for 50. That was his dieback, actually. Puppey comes from the back lane. They want to take another fight.
Oh, Puppey, that's a bold maneuver, my friends. The Space Cow glimpsed back to a world far away, and now to an entirely different one. Back to the well for him, and straight forward top for SG.
All right. Well, I think SG just plays it safe right now. Roche is going to start respawning pretty
Safe?
soon.
Adriano says, I don't know the meaning of that word. Just struts up. Instant assassination. Pylai die. Playing the role of man who dies a lot in this particular game. Now the Static Storm. Cat, even he's confident to move in. They will swap mid one back. He wants to walk forward during this time. A bit uncoordinated here. They do get the charge on Adriano, but remember, he's going to respawn just about instantly. 10 seconds. Have they bitten off more than they can chew? SG Esports sloppy play, giving up some huge kills here. All 3 cores down. Now looking for the retreat. They'll blink out, double blink actually, but Puppey chases for more. Lena's back alive. Lifestealer respawns. They get back into the action. They got to be careful about those dives, though, Kevin.
That's a free ride. Maybe if Lina gets swapped in. Oh, they're going to keep continuing.
Looking for Kezu here. They get the glimpse back into the cloud, and again, the tricks of the trade doing good work. KNRD going to blink his way out towards safety, forcing Kezu back to, well, actually borrow time on cooldown there, but they put the brakes on the aggression for now.
Yeah, Lina picking up a BKB after that last fight. The Abaddon chasing after her, the Spearbreaker chain stun. There's a lot of big threats. So she's got to be a little careful. I mean, SG could have played it safe there. Don't get too close to the base. Grab the Roshan when it happens to respawn. Then do this again. But a big fight for Secret there. And the big item that's coming through consistently seems to be Bloodthorn, really. Like, every single time he started fighting the Lina right off the bat, was actually trading favorably. Makes a lot of sense. They can't get caught out chased by the Bloodthorn because it is just amplifying everything Secret does.
But that might change because KNRD has a Basher now. HFN, no sign that he wants to build one, which we do often see on the Lifestealer.
Yeah.
Going back for the Lincolns with the Manta.
The problem of too many medium expense items. He's going to have to sell Midas soon, probably, but even that I'm not sold on.
Sell Midas.
It is only a 40-minute game. It's a bit early, but they better win this game, man. They're 2 racks up right now. They've got a huge kill lead. They just can't let Secret win this fight. If Secret wins this fight and takes Roche, this game is like opened up.
And you say that when they're down 35,000 gold, but we have seen some crazy comebacks as they move into the pit. They are currently getting the scouting information they need here. Nice scan, but the timing could be right. Will SG walk in? No, the illusions are there, though. They're going to start hitting mid one. They engage. They drop the cloud. Now the back as they try to pull him out towards safety. The Shadow Fiend gets pulled right back in.
Dead.
Mid one, slain in an instant. Now the stun. Make it 2. He's going to come back, but will he have the firepower he needs on round 2 of this engagement? BKB already committed, and everywhere they fall, dropping like flies. Secret losing 3. About to be the Shadow Fiend for a second time, blinking up to the high ground. Great prediction by Tavo. Maybe a little too good. No, Adriano there from the low ground. The Death Requiem 5. Make it 6 with the Aegis. Absolutely butchered, and Secret have had enough. They tap out. Already a shocker here in Kiev.
They're taking it to game 3 in one of the most one-sided matchups that we've seen. And they've got to be super hyped. That's going to be a lot of momentum going into game 3. Secret's got to feel the pressure. You do not want to go out round 1 as the group stage favorites.
And to a team that didn't take a series, they lost all 3. They only took 1 map against OG. Many questions, should there be a South American qualifier? Is the region deserving? But I think already SG Sports taking a game like this off of Secret, the way they did, they just shut the doubters up.
Yeah, it's amazing. All it takes is 1 game, right? And it gives so much validity to the whole scene. Really happy for these guys to take a game. Can they do the 3rd one? That's the excitement point. 4DR, that guy played amazing. Full confidence in his Lina, landing the disables, taking the fights that look scary. It was well played.
They are on their feet here in Kiev. Paul, can you believe it?
It is almost hard to believe, but just 1 in the bag for SG Esports. That's what they wanted. They've got their way. It is Força Brazil, as they say in the southern hemisphere of South America. Well done to SG Esports. They've drawn level, but that's not the end of the story. Let's break it down with our panel once more. Gods, Fogged, and Teven is back. Gods is kind of wide-eyed at that one. That was a good performance by the Brazilians.
Yeah, but hell, that was fantastic, you know. They turned things around very formidably from game 1, you know. They had a much better laning stage. And I think individually things were just better. Like, I think game 1 you had 40 out of the mid lane getting solo queued by mid 1. This time around it helps you had a better matchup, and we kind of questioned, like, why are they first picking Lina? People aren't doing that well.
Yeah.
Give him a better matchup, give him a better early game. He can snowball. Lifesteal did well in lane. Ricky Darkseer, like, they won their lanes. That was the key thing here in this game for me.
Yeah, and it just snowballed after that, Fogged.
They hardcore won their lanes, and I really like the way that they warded and everything too in the early game. They're playing versus Spirit Breaker. They identified that. They were warding in either on high ground for like river charges or inside of the jungle to watch the movements. And not only just that, the rotations, the aggressiveness. They won all their lanes as we keep talking about, and just the Lina's rotations, ADR or 4DR, whatever you want to call him. Honestly, he was moving everywhere. That rotation to the bottom lane, he showed up so quickly, turned the fights around. The way that they incorporated the Lifestealer as well, it was like right away. We saw a bunch of teams using Lifestealer and failing here so far, but he gets his armlet, right away gets in, goes for an infest movement.
Teven, great performance, but a little worrying at times. They had us they're almost there.
Right.
And then they kind of played safe instead of going in and getting a racks. Then they lose a team fight and you're thinking, oh, this is looking a bit dodgy again suddenly, because all over again from the group stage, it's Mouse versus Newbie, where Mouse had a 20k gold league, had a racks all over the place, and then Newbie came back and won, and there was a little bit of fear there for this.
Well, unlike Mouse versus Newbie, they did seal the game,
They
so
did.
that's what actually matters. And I'm going to say, like, going from game 1, they understood exactly what they were doing wrong, and they, like, instantly changed up their draft. They understood how they want to play out the game, and the competitive spirit of this team is absolutely amazing. Like, that's something that is very important when it comes to esports as well as real sports. And they got beat by Secret, and they sort of felt like they were getting, you know, let's just say, for lack of better words, clowned on a little bit. But they're like, no, that's not what happened. You know, we know why whatever went wrong. Let's just change it up. We're gonna be fine, guys. Let's just play our game. And they show Secret up.
Are you impressed?
Super. Like, I actually want to see more from this team. I think they know some things. And honestly, I said from day 1 that when Secret loses one game, some bad things can go down real quick.
That is the end of the
Okay.
streak. They were 20-0. It's now ended,
And
as
it's
all
also,
things do.
I feel like the way it ended too, like there were maybe some lackluster performances. MP had a really rough game in the safe lane. I mean, he got pressured pretty hard, but went very greedy going for a minus. I felt like at least upgrading to like hit brown boots, get some phase boots, get something to help you get some more early game stats, survivability. I feel like that was way too greedy. Keza in the off lane really struggled to get anything out of the lane. Normally we see these Abbas at least have a bit more success. So I feel like Team Secret maybe didn't really show their best Dota as well.
Okay, MVP for everyone? Who do you want to pick out?
The hands down ADR.
Yeah,
ADR.
That man, like, we saw him laying against mid 1, the
Yeah.
highest MMR player in the world, and he was pressuring him. It was absolutely amazing. From the beginning to the end, he played phenomenally. And no, last game he didn't get to play mid. He got to play a troll warlord in the safe. Maybe that's his role. You know,
Yeah.
send him mid lane. Let's see what happens again.
And, you know, like, he showed some confidence going for the damage challenge. Like, I don't want any of that respawn talent stuff where I die for my team. I'm going to be the carry, you know, like, gets the damage talent. Like, he was running in, making plays. Like, there was that one fight where I think I was like, ooh, this is going to go bad, where Secret's in the trees around that mid-tier 1 dire tower. They burst down the lifesteal, and I'm like, oh, lifesteal does 0 damage. Surely you lose this fight. But no, Lina carries through, does damage with the help of the Darkseer. So Lina, like, just managed to win fights when lifesteal was getting focused down and kited. So
He went an interesting build early on, too. We were taking a look at it. He went the 4-1-4 build. So it was we've seen, like, I think pretty much everybody do 4-4-1, but this time he went for 4-1-4. He was moving around the lanes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's do
Got
this.
game 3.
We have got a game 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think, is it beyond the stretches to dream that maybe Brazil has a quarter-finalist here?
They showed incredible teamwork, and their spellcasting in that game was amazing. I think if they draft a similar lineup with heavy team fight and like these very good laners for ADR, I think they can take this one.
I think it has a lot to do with Secret as well. We can't just say like, okay, does Brazil have it in them? They obviously have it in them. There's no doubt about that. But Secret, it's a matter of they understand whether their draft just sucked versus the enemies, and you just gotta like understand it and fix it. Just be like, okay, let's just go back to something that works for us, something where we can team fight well with. If they can do that, then maybe we'll have a different kind of game. But if they don't, and they're like, oh guys, we just sucked, okay, blah blah blah, let's just play better, I think they're gonna be in a very bad situation.
Okay, we're headed towards our third and final draft. We didn't expect to get here, and SG Esports have done themselves very proud indeed, but they want to go one step further and take this one and place in the quarterfinals. What a thrill that would be for the Brazilian fans. Long road ahead yet. Our game 3 is just around the corner. Before we get to the draft, let's check in with our social media questions once more. Thank you for all the questions that you've posted via Facebook and via Reddit. This one: how much detail do teams go into when talking during team fights? Good one for Steven. Varies, doesn't it, from team to team?
Yes, for sure. There are some teams where I've seen, like by sitting behind them or anything, something like that, and they would just not even speak. Like the fight just goes, everyone just casts their spells, they know what's happening, and then they're just freely playing the game. And then there are teams where before the fight even starts, they're already talking about what they want to do, where each player is going to go, who they're going to target, how it's going to play out, and then they just go from that. And then there are, some teams in the middle where, okay, a fight just spontaneously starts, and we're just calling out our targets that were going on at the time, and then people just adjust to that. So those are like the two extremes, and then down the middle, it definitely varies between the teams.
What do you prefer?
I like the preemptive planning and then adjusting as it goes on.
Right.
So if you have some very key spells like Clockwork Hook, or you can be like, okay, I'm going to wait for the Tinker always, and I'm not going to hook anybody else, and then you just go in. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that if you see someone that's like really out of position, you're not going to just hook this guy and just get the free kill and wait for it to come back up again. But I like the planning.
How does it work with Envy? What's he like in the booth?
With Envy, I don't think he puts too much details into teamfight. He puts more details into like the whole map aspect of the game. I would think on NP itself, like AUI was better. Actually, I don't know if you said Envy or NP.
I said Envy.
Envy, okay, just making sure. But yeah, on NP itself, AUI was much better at planning out a team fight.
Right.
That was like more of his strength. But yeah.
It's very interesting. Gods, have you got any experience of how the Australians do it? Do they do it differently? I always feel like they're more shouty somehow.
Yeah, I think Australians, when it comes to esports players, I mean, there's only a couple in the Dota scene, but like maybe a few more in the CSGO scene are always very vocal, and there's a lot more camaraderie between the team. I think they're a bit more just bravo about like communicating a lot more actively, and maybe a bit more comparable to like what the Greeks are with Adfinem and Mousesports. So I think that's probably more the Australian style of communicating.
Yeah, I think the South Africans would probably agree with that. They were very shouty at times in their booths when we were down there. And perhaps the Brazilians as well. Obviously very passionate, very emotional kind of players as well. So it's nice. What have you preferred over the years? You must have seen it all, haven't you?
Yeah, Pretty much
Bit
seen
of
all of
everything?
it. A lot of like sometimes just screaming, like in the fights. It's just like ah, and you're just like all right, well, we'll just cool, let's just go. I think the preemptive planning is, in my opinion, like the easiest to kind of work with because you can understand exactly like the targeting that's
Sure.
going to go down in the fights. It's just like Thaven's mentioning. It's just like if you have, let's say, you're low on disables in a fight or something, and you have like Rubik as your only disable as your lift. It's like okay, we're playing versus a Storm Spirit or something. It's like all right. Rubik before the fight even starts, saving my spell for this guy pretty much 99% of the time. So I think in that aspect, I do like the planning ahead. But at times you do have to make adjustments because sometimes a fight just
Spontaneous
happens.
happens all the time in Dota.
does.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
very important for people to understand. Nothing is as it goes.
Nothing usually works out how it's planned either, does it?
Yeah, exactly. You definitely need to make adjustments as the game does happen.
Okay. Let's take one more, and we'll head towards our draft. Just waiting for the players to come back to the booths, obviously, after their rest. Both teams wanting to take that this time. Who wins in a pub, Arteezy's AM or Mid-1 Storm?
Did this happen the other day?
The other
This is
day.
like-
Right now, mid-1 Storm.
Yeah.
So he last picked Storm after AM was preemptively picked, which is like, you don't play Storm into AM. And that's it's like disrespecting Arteezy. Like, I can beat your AM as Storm.
I'm going to have to say that right now, Mid-1 Storm got to get there first. To
There we
play
go.
against the Arteezy anti-mage. So we're going to have to wait on that to answer that question.
But it says a pub though.
Oh, in a pub. Oh, all right. Well,
9.5 KMR.
I would think 99% of the time, actually not even 99, that's not even true. Storm can actually beat Anti-Mage.
Yeah.
I played recently the Anti-Mage versus Storm, and Storm is surprisingly really good. I can't put my finger on it, maybe because Anti-Mage is not as strong as it was before as a hard carry role. But Storm, he can buy like really good items like Lincolns and Bloodthorn that can really do a lot of damage to Anti-Mage for sure.
It's really all about the timings. I mean, like it's hard to really say just like who's gonna win. Like is a 1v1 AM versus Storm? I mean, like okay, but like in a pub, really depends on what happens throughout the game.
Yeah.
So.
Depends who's around him.
Yeah, it depends on what the other lineup is. If it's a Storm versus an AM and one lineup has like 5 stuns and the other one has 0, I mean, the one that has more stuns is probably going to be doing a bit better than the other one.
Yeah, maybe Arteezy overreacted a little bit when he saw the Storm spirit. Let's just say that.
No. Arteezy reacting now? What
Yeah,
come
you know,
on
on
now.
second thought, it's impossible, right?
Yeah. Come on. Let's take another social media question. One more before we get to the draft. This one is best strat to play so far in Kiev. Ooh.
That's such a hard question.
That's a really tough question.
That's
isn't it?
like saying which team do you prefer? You know, in a way.
A little bit. I mean, okay, let me put this to you. Because there have been a couple of teams who have adopted kind of secret-ish strategies in
Right.
the round of 16 from the group stages.
Right. Well, Mouse did, but they didn't really win.
Well,
in
they
the
won
end,
one.
right?
They won one.
They
and
did
that was
win
for the
one.
very secret.
Yes.
I think they have 4 of the 5
Right.
of a draft.
They
So
did.
is that maybe the best strategy? Copying secret drafts from the group stages?
Right now? I don't think so.
No, not according to that last
no.
game. It wasn't. No.
I think from everything that I've seen, the best strat I've enjoyed so far is the VP style, where they just pick some very aggressive heroes. Maybe the enemy buys Midas, punished. Get at them, run at them, keep killing them. They pick Slaughter, they pick Ursa. They just want to get in your face, abuse the fact that they have the strong early mid-game timing, and just keep pressuring you, take objectives, and then your Midases can never pay off. A lot of teams, we've seen them buy Midases. It's like, you know, you still don't know if it's good or not to buy these Midases. In some situations, like, yeah, okay, it works, but I think people are just like over abusing it a little bit right now.
Do
So
you
the
think it's
9 Midas
do you
strat.
think, well, do you think it's backed off though in the round of 16? We haven't seen as many in the round
for
of 16,
sure.
have we?
I think maybe during the break, people have scrimmed a bit more or like watched some replays and
Sure.
they're like, the teams that are winning aren't really buying a lot of Midases. Or you look at some statistics and you're like, okay, if you buy more than 2 Midases, the chance of you winning this game is extremely bad. So let's not do it. So what happens if you buy less Midases, you know? Let's see how that goes.
If you buy 3 or more Midases, it's 0.7% win rate. So then you go, no.
What's 4 Midases at?
Yeah, I don't
that a
know. I have
0%?
no idea. We'll get
It's
knocks on the
it's
case.
low. It's
Okay.
it's pretty low,
very
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other strats that you've either enjoyed or that you think that's been particularly good to watch?
I've really enjoyed like some of the. We've seen maybe 2 or 3 times the like Medusa, Phoenix, Treant type drafts. Those have been
Right.
kind of cool. Like not like an instant game win
Very
kind of thing,
entertaining.
Yeah, entertaining.
Yeah.
But
I think-
again, like there's no one best strat. Otherwise, everyone would be doing it. Everyone,
Yeah.
it's a strat that suits your team, suits your playstyle. The best strat for VP is not going to be the best strat
No.
for EG.
No,
I
absolutely
don't
not.
think EG should be trying to play and replicate VP style.
Right.
No, it's a good point. I think the ones I've enjoyed have been the DC games, just because of the speed at which they've played.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the drafts, but the speed has been fantastic to watch. Right, we are in Game 3. Many thought we would not be here. It is Team Secret versus SG Esports. First time Brazilian team.